Johnson.
Baadaye mwambie andae bahasha. Bwana hii na yeye.
That makes everything taste a little better, I think.
Tastes like pain.
Pain. You don't like spicy food?
Huh? Oh, I love spicy.
No, but there are some things where it's
Furahia chakula.
Trailhead chakula.
much?
All has been great so far from day one on yesterday. Today has been the second day.
Yeah.
You find everyone from the team is doing good, from the clients and the porters, guides and chiefs. Great so far, day two.
Great so far?
Yeah.
We're a slow group?
I cannot say no, because it has been great from the time that we started in the morning.
Yeah.
Before 8. Then according to the time wise, yeah, it is almost 12, about 1 hour from here. Our lunch at the camp is a good timing. Roughly 12:30. That should be enough for us to be to the next camp.
Nice. How many times you climbed Kilimanjaro?
I got 10 years now.
10 years?
Yeah, then started as a porter. This will be my 197.
197. You're
Yes,
keeping
to the
track.
top, keeping track.
Soon 200. You gotta celebrate.
Soon got 200. We're gonna celebrate
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, how do you find so far?
Really good.
That's
really
right.
good. Yeah, really nice gang. Feels like we're gonna reach the summit.
Well, why not? We're looking forward for that.
Yeah.
Let's keep pushing up.
You have the coat on.
Yeah, no.
Which one?
Alright, so we're at Shira I camp, and you might wonder, with all these people around, how do you take a shit? Well, I'll show you. So you're bringing this toilet, you knock, you ask if someone is there, no one is. So there's these plastic canisters, use a pump to flush water. It works quite well, quite luxurious that they managed to bring these things all the way up here.
Is that what you said? Yeah. Oh yeah. It'll be a big day today.
Well, next time you go to Yellowstone, go check out the teacher.
Yeah. There's that boulder.
Gosh dang it. Oh, dang Americans littering like normal.
What did he do that? Oh.
Yeah, nitrogen poison's terrible.
That's what I'm thinking. Solid, make it solid. Okay. No, you avoid it.
So, we just arrived in the Muir Hut camp. Next thing is eating lunch, which they're preparing now. Let's go take a look in the mess tent. Nice.
Hey, how are you doing, bro?
All good. What are we cooking?
There is macaroni
Yeah?
and bolognese.
Bolognese.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like this.
And also we have lettuce soup.
Okay.
Yeah. Karibu.
All right. Thank you. Asante.
You're welcome.
Smells very good.
Nice.
Smells very good.
You should eat plain pasta.
I think Magnus says they're making potatoes.
A knife and fork knife in your right hand. If you're only using a
No,
fork,
well-
fork changes.
Initially, it's traditionally with a knife in your right hand.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I just do what's easy for me.
If you're not using a knife,
Right. We are back in our tent. It's about 1 o'clock. We now have about 3 more hours to chill before we embark on a small hike just up on top of one of the peaks in the area, only to get back to acclimatize. So you go up and you sleep low. So yeah, as you can hear, it started raining just when we got back, and yeah, we're very lucky. It started right now. Varför gör du sådär?
Du som börjar.
Play it again. Whoa. Like, the punishment doesn't fit
You're
the
playing
reward.
so boring.
The thing is they lost twice, so it's the same anyway.
They're kind of wet.
That's mushroom.
Mushroom.
Fungus.
Is it mushroom?
Yes.
Fun guy. Mushroom for anything else.
Summit night. We just woke up. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Didn't sleep anything up until this point. But yeah, we'll just march on. Here we go. Oh shit.
There you go.
Yeah, we're ready to rock and roll to the roof of Africa. Here, let's go.
One dream, one team.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? I just shitted.
And I'm ready for this.
Let's go. Let's go.
Alright, let's do this.
We're going to the bottom.
Okay. Marathon.
Hello, welcome back from hiking Kilimanjaro with me and my brother. My name is Jonathan, and in this section I will tell you everything you need to know if you're curious about doing this hike yourself, including a trail review, tour guide review, and giving you some tips. If you want to do this trek yourself and have any further questions, please comment below. I will gladly help you out. And if you liked this video or found it helpful, I would be super grateful if you gave me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. There are a lot of routes to get to the top, so I want to start with talking about the route we chose to go to the top and why. We hiked the Lemosho route, which is a total of 4,700 meters in elevation gain. That includes all the ups and downs, and it runs for a total distance of about 70 kilometers. There are many different routes to get to the top with varying distances, but they all lead to the very same summit of 5,895 meters above sea level, which is the highest point in Africa. And because this is one of the 7 summits that are the highest across all the continents in the world, it's part of the 7 Summit Challenge, which, as the name implies, is about conquering the highest summit in every continent. This, I believe, is one of the reasons why Kilimanjaro in general is such a popular hike, not only for intermediate hikers, but also hardcore mountaineers. Expect to see other people. It's definitely a quite crowded trail, regardless of which route you pick. Other popular routes beside the Lemosho trail are Barranco and Mashame routes. The distance for those to reach the summit are shorter, enabling you to reach the top in fewer days. So even though you both save time and money because of having to bring less food and for porters to work fewer days, right? These trails are, for one, more crowded and have a lower success rate reaching the summit. So the reason being altitude sickness. The quicker you gain in altitude, the greater the risk you simply can't continue since your life might be at stake. It starts with a headache, dizziness and nausea, but can lead to fatal brain swelling and lung fluid accumulation, making it difficult to breathe. So as soon as you start feeling a combination of those early symptoms, it's important to stop, rest and evaluate any improvements before ascending higher. You might even have to go back down. The Lemosho Trail and the more recent trail, the Northern Circuit, both offer slightly smaller crowds. They go for a bit longer, both in distance and amount of days to get to the top. That means you have much higher success rates because you ascend in altitude at a slower and more gradual pace. I haven't hiked other trails, but from what I've read, Lemosho Trail is also one of the more scenic routes. So for us, it was a no-brainer booking this route. It was planned as an 8-day hike to get to the top and getting back down. But we ended up finishing the hike in 7 days instead, because our group chose to descend all the way back down in 1 day instead of the planned 2 days. Alright, moving on to the actual hike itself. We took a flight to the Kilimanjaro airport. The tour company we chose to hike with was called Climbing Kilimanjaro, also referred to as CK. They picked us up at the airport and drove us to a hotel in Arusha to go through all the necessary logistics, safety guidelines, checking our bags, making sure we had everything we needed. They offered us the possibility on site as well to rent whatever gear we were missing. We got a chance to meet the other hikers in the group, all very nice people, and we shared a dinner the night before starting the hike. The day after, we were taken to the trailhead of the Lemosho Trail, which was a few hours drive from Arusha. Some stops were made on the way to stock up on snacks, but also medication for those who wanted it, like painkillers for sore joints or Diamox to aid with the altitude sickness symptoms. It's good for you to know if you don't have any Diamox and want to use it, that Climbing Kilimanjaro company will help you get it ahead of starting your hike. Since I'm not a doctor, I won't be handing out any advice on whether you should use it or not for altitude sickness, but I can advise you to look into it and do your own research. Once we reached the trailhead, we were served lunch. We waited for the porters to weigh in our bags. They have a limit in how much they are allowed to carry, which is great for 2 reasons. It makes the job of the porters less strenuous, and it also creates a lot of jobs in the area. A hike on this day went through a somewhat jungly area where we spotted 2 different breed of monkeys, and it was quite easy, a short hike through a lush forest to the first campsite called Big Tree Camp. Total distance was 5 kilometers. Once reaching the camp after about 3 hours, everybody's tent had already been pitched, so me and my brother, we shared a tent. You could also opt for having your own solo tent if you wanted to. But everyone's tent were prepared with mattresses, and our duffel bags were already being inside the tent upon arrival. What's even more is that we got hot water and soap to rinse off, which felt like such a luxury after having hiked throughout the day. This is something that was provided for us every day and made the whole experience very comfortable. During this first camp visit at the Big Tree Camp, we also got an introduction how to use the toilets that the porters carry with them, which are brought and set up for every camp along the way. Another thing making the whole experience just much more comfortable, and unbelievable the tremendous effort put in by all the porters, always passing you by with a smile on their faces. The second day we left Big Tree Camp towards Shira I camp. About half of the first day went through a forest area, and the second part opened up to a much more open landscape. We entered an environment called moorlands, and the altitude change on this day went from 2,650 meters to 3,550 meters, so a little less than a kilometer in altitude gain, and a total distance of 8 kilometers hiked. The surroundings really started opening up. It was very sunny, so I advise you bring sunscreen and a sun hat to avoid burning yourself as things got really hot. The guide we hiked with from CK made some stops along the way, teaching us about the different flowers and fauna that we encountered, which I think was a nice touch. After about 4 to 5 hours of hiking, we reached Shira I, next to a stream of water where we had a nice view of the summit that seemed surprisingly far away. And in that camp we were introduced to everyone in the crew, including all the guides, every porter and our chefs, who by the way prepared amazing food and shared a singing and dancing experience before heading off to sleep. This was also the day when we started gauging our blood oxygen levels. Something we did every day, along with filling in questionnaires about how we were feeling with headaches, nausea or stomach aches, giving our guides the ability to see how the altitude change physically affected us every day, that they in turn would use to pay extra attention to some individuals as needed and advise appropriately. So this part was mandatory and taken very seriously, which I think was great because we all felt very safe in the group and well taken care of. The third day we hiked from Shira I to Shira II, traversing open landscapes again, reaching an altitude of 3,847 meters in about 4 to 5 hours of hiking. The scenery gradually became more and more epic, more wide-stretched. Once reaching the camp, having lunch, we had a short day hike up on a small mountain in the proximity. Just a couple of hundred meters extra elevation gain, only to come back down and sleep. The reason for doing so is to aid the body acclimatizing to the altitude, and the rule of thumb is climb high, sleep low. That increases your chances of avoiding altitude sickness. Another saying you will hear a lot during the hike from your guides is pole pole, which basically means go slowly. And when ascending high altitudes like this, slow and steady wins the race. Day 4, we started our hike to Barranco camp, sitting at 3,976 meters. But on the way of getting there, we passed Lava Tower at 4,630 meters. That was the highest point in the trek, again, following the principle of climb high, sleep low, descending almost 700 meters to the campsite where we spent the night. Our surroundings just kept getting more and more interesting during this hike. We passed waterfalls, we also passed prehistoric trees that are called giant groundsels, which are unique to Kilimanjaro. The camp we reached, Barranco, I think was my favorite camp on the whole trail because the scenery reminded me of something like Jurassic Park with all the remote wilderness. Every day you will have plenty of time, by the way, in camp to take strolls, taking in the environment, or hang out with your group in the mess tent. The mess tent was readily pitched for us every day when we arrived at camp, where we were served snacks like popcorn along with hot chocolate and coffee every single day in the afternoon. Some days we hung out together in the tent playing cards, and other days, if you were feeling tired, you could just stroll around the camp or chill in your tent. But expect a lot of free time to relax in a camp on this hike. During the evening as the sun set, even though you feel so far from civilization, you are able to see city lights in the far distance. The views from Barranco camp after sunset was just mind-blowing. Day 5, we started climbing the infamous Barranco wall. It's steep, it requires scrambling, meaning you have to use your hands to climb it, but you don't need any special equipment because it's not that steep. It took about 2 hours scrambling the entire wall, which was done in quite a slow pace, considering all the people that queued up to do this. If you're wondering why I kissed a stone as I passed it, it's because it's the most narrow point of the Barranco wall, and it's called the kissing stone. We were urged to follow the tradition by our guides to kiss it, so we just went with it. And what strikes me now, looking back at this, is I wonder how many people have gotten COVID spread during that trail tradition of kissing the exact same rock. But anyway, after about 4 to 5 hours, we arrived at Karanga camp at 3,995 meters. We had a short rest here, only to march on another 2-3 hours towards Barafu camp, also referred to as base camp, where a lot of different routes join, meaning even more people. Barafu camp is situated at an altitude of 4,673 meters, so if you weren't feeling the altitude before, you are likely to start feeling it now. The last few hours of our hike, actually, you could really feel the group becoming increasingly introvert as breathing became more difficult. Day 6, summit night. Following a summit briefing the night before, where everything was walked through in detail, we went to bed early to wake up at around 3 a.m. In the night, getting ready to hike to the actual summit. Most of us had difficulty sleeping, likely because of the altitude, which does affect sleep, but also likely the excitement and perhaps a sliver of worry if we're gonna make it to the top or not. We set off with headlights into the freezing cold darkness and started our ascent, which, although hiking slowly, was very difficult, mostly due to the shortage of breath, and it took about 7 to 8 hours getting to the top of 5,895 meters, so more than a kilometer in altitude gain from our starting point. But the feeling finally reaching the top was amazing. Not only because of the accomplishment and pride that everyone in the group was feeling, but also the scenery being surrounded by snow, clouds and glaciers is just surreal and really indescribable. The hike down, slightly different path than going up actually, was much softer ground. It allowed you to almost slide down dunes to get back to the camp. It took about 2 hours descending all the way from the top back to our camp. Definitely the most challenging day, and to be honest, there were a few moments when I was in doubt if I was going to make it to the top, because I started feeling some headache, but the full group made it to the top. Also, much thanks to the amazing guides who were great at just motivating everyone that experienced difficulties. The final day, day 7, we hiked all the way down to Mueca Gate. I like that we never really hiked the same path twice, but with this trail we're able to descend the mountain on a different route that we went up, giving us new sceneries to explore throughout the full hike from start to finish. And we enjoyed the ceremony when once we reached the bottom, where everyone received summit certificates. We were transported back to our hotel in Arusha, where both a swimming pool and a luxurious restaurant and beds awaited us, and which you just longed after an experience like this. So that was it for the trail guide. I highly recommend the Lemosho route out of all the trails you can pick. In general, it offered a huge variety in terrain as well as wildlife, and has one of the highest success rates of all the routes. When it comes to choosing your tour company, as you'll notice if you Google, there is a huge amount of different operators. I assessed a lot of these companies and ended up choosing Climbing Kilimanjaro, referred to as CK. They take a group of hikers on all the different routes, and their pricing was somewhat mid-level. We paid around 2,700 USD per person for an 8-day hike. You will come across both cheaper and more expensive options, but what made us and the other hikers in our group opt for this one were mainly because of all the great reviews, which you will find in multiple sources when you do your own research. People seem to love hiking with Climbing Kilimanjaro, so we just went with it, and after having finished this hike myself, I can honestly say it was worth every penny, and they were simply great. So from arriving to the airport, everything was taken care of, and included in this price, transport both to and from the hotel in Arusha, as well as to and from the park, and even the hotel nights in this quite luxurious hotel before and after the hike was included in the price. So factor that in when you make your decision. And in terms of safety, they carried oxygen tanks, they had pulsometers, they performed these check-ins with everyone throughout every day, and we really got to know our guys as well. They, on a personal level, they felt like any other hiker, just part of our group. Super cool, super relaxed, very communicative, speaking near perfect English. So another highlight was the food we were served. I already told you we got snacks and hot chocolate every day, but what's more is that every morning we were woken up in our tent with a freshly brewed coffee to drink in our tent for about half an hour before breakfast with the rest of the group. Tiny details like that made the experience feel so much more comfortable. For breakfast every day we were served sandwiches with peanut butter, jam or ham, and on top of that the chef had cooked porridge and scrambled eggs and pancakes with syrup every morning to all of us. So that was just amazing. I mean, it doesn't get better. And for dinner there were always a starter, often soup before our main course, which could be both pasta bolognese or rice with chicken curry as examples. And everyone could eat as much as they wanted and get unlimited refills. So you will be able to eat a lot of good food. I can't say we dropped weight, rather the opposite of doing this quite physical hike. On top of that, super informative. The guides were hiking along, were always making stops, talking about what we were experiencing, regularly checking in with everybody, and I can honestly highly recommend you to book with Climbing Kilimanjaro if you're gonna attempt hiking Kilimanjaro yourself. Alright, that's it for me. Hopefully you feel more informed to decide whether you should attempt this hike yourself. And again, if you want to do so and if you have any questions, please ask them below. I answer all of the comments and questions I get. If you enjoyed this video, please consider showing your support by either liking this video or subscribing to my channel, as it ultimately enables me to go out and do more of these treks and videos to share with you. I'm very grateful for any support I can get. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.